This is Ashton Marcus with AMB Theater, and I'm on location at Chance Theater. It's the world premiere of Loch Ness, a new musical. Loch Ness is equal parts cheeky comedy, heartwarming family drama, and uplifting musical journey.
Mrs. Marshall Pellet?
I'm Marshall.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, so nice to meet you. How are you, man?
Great. I'm great.
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you do here?
I wrote the music, and I co-wrote the book, and I directed the show.
How long did it take you to write this thing?
About 3 years. Yeah, we've been working on it seriously for about 3 years.
What kind of commitment do you have to do for that, to actually write a full musical for that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, and you write it and write it and rewrite it and rewrite it, and yeah, it's very time-consuming, but it's all worth it when you see the actors perform it and the audience enjoy it. It's very gratifying.
At what point did you realize, hey, I can actually write this? This is actually a real thing that's going to happen.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think you ever really realize that. You just kind of do it, and at some point you get lucky enough for a theater to produce it, and yeah, I don't know if I have an answer to that question, but it's been a really, really wonderful journey, that's for sure.
Well, what was the process? Did you just know, hey, I'm just going to write this thing, doesn't matter if I get paid, doesn't matter, or did you just start thinking about this and later evolve and said, hey, I can actually sell this to someone?
You know, I came up with the idea for this musical when I was 9 years old. I was fascinated with the Loch Ness Monster, and been thinking about the story ever since. And about 3 years ago, I and my collaborator said, maybe this actually could be something. But yeah, this was a passion project. We wrote it for ourselves. We didn't have any theater in mind. We didn't have any producers in mind. We just loved the story and wanted to create this story and bring it to fruition, and we're very grateful that the Chance liked it too and decided to put it up.
Could I get a brief bio of you?
A bio? Yeah, sure. Like, what do you want to know?
Well, where you went to college, or basically any kind of musical background?
Sure. I went to Yale, Yale University undergraduate. I was a philosophy student. When I was in high school and middle school, I was an actor on Broadway, and I did some television. And since I've graduated school, I've been writing and directing. I did a musical called Triassic Park in New York, and then here at the Chance Theater. That's how I met everyone at the Chance, and since then we decided to, we've been looking for something to work on ever since. I also do writing work and some directing work for DreamWorks Theatricals and Animation, a studio called RKO, and yeah, I think is that good? Yeah.
So could you also give me a quick synopsis of the play?
Sure. Yeah. So Loch Ness is a musical about a young girl. She's 11, and she becomes best friends with the Loch Ness Monster, and she and the Loch Ness Monster have to escape Loch Ness before something terrible happens. And yeah, we follow these two girls, their journey as they escape and as they grow up together.
I love the interplay between the father and the daughter, because again, a musical about Loch Ness Monster, you don't really think of it as being anything more than a cartoon.
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, at the heart of it, we're trying to tell a very human story, and it's the human story is about a young girl and her father, and they both recently experienced a great trauma, and they're getting over that. And over the course of the show, both the girl and the father kind of come to terms with the tragedy they've gone through and learn to let go and kind of grow because of it.
So basically, would you prefer to do more musicals in the future or more dramatic plays?
I love musicals. I like plays too. When I graduated college, I was directing straight plays almost exclusively, dramas. But then I was writing musicals and directing straight plays, and I got hired to direct a musical that I had written, and it went well. And ever since, people have kind of been hiring me to keep doing that, to direct musicals that I've written. I love doing it. I love world premieres. I love writing something, and for this process in particular, the actors were so integral in creating the characters and creating the story. Yeah, I live for this stuff, man.
So how do you think you did?
I don't know. You can be the judge of that. You let me know what you thought. What did you think? Did you like it?
Well, actually, I'm not really a critic. I actually do previews more than anything else, because I basically feel that not enough people go to the theater.
All right, I appreciate that, man. I think that it's up to the audience and the critics to judge it. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the actors. I'm proud of the design team. I love watching it, and I hope that the audience loves watching it as much as I love watching it.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
This is A.D. Pinedo. She's one of the co-writer of the show.
Yes, true.
Oh, great. Okay, so could I get a brief bio of you?
I was an English major at Colgate University. I was a lawyer for about half of my adult life. And then I got into writing for theater, mainly because of Marshall. Came up with the idea 18 years ago of writing a musical about the Loch Ness Monster. That was our first idea that we ever came up with, but it's the last idea that we've actually realized to date. And so I've immersed myself in writing for theater, both plays and musicals ever since.
So are you going to do this as a profession, or have you given up your legal career?
Yes, I gave up my legal career happily and gratefully. I'm poor, but I'm much happier.
That's very interesting, basically. So you just decided to take a leap of faith?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You only go around once. Most people think, so that the odds are, so now or never. That's what I decided 4 years ago. So I'm all in.
How do you think you did?
I'm very proud of the show. I could not be more proud. There's not a moment in the show that I have a problem with, and I love the way the audiences are responding to it. So I feel very joyous right now.
So you wrote the lyrics, or?
I wrote the lyrics, and Marshall and I developed the story and the book and the script together. And Marshall wrote the music, and of course, he directed it.
That's quite a leap. That's quite a distance from a legal career. That actually being able to. Did you have some kind of poetry background or some kind of?
Well, I always, a lot of lawyers are English majors who couldn't figure out what to do after college and didn't have the confidence that they could be professionally creative, and I fall into that boat, So I was like, I'll go to law school, and I'll figure it out from there. And then I met, the woman who's going to be my wife, and we decided we wanted to have a family, and so I became a lawyer. But I always, in the back of my mind and in my heart, felt that I was a writer. But it wasn't until, I don't know if you know this, but Marshall is my son. And he came out of his mother's womb a creative person, that could not be denied. And he is the one who brought that out in me. That you're creative too, Dad, and we could do this together. And that's what happened.
This is actually pretty fascinating. I mean, first of all, do you feel that did you nurture him, or was he like always a musician? When he was born, he was just a musician.
Oh, he literally was uncontainably creative from the moment he was born. It has nothing to do with me at all. The only thing that I and his mother did for him was to not suppress that, but when we recognized that he was special in that way, and I don't mean special in a that he was remarkable in that way, we encouraged it and nurtured it. But it's all him, man. It's all him.
The story is about a father and their child. You're a father, and he's a child. Was there some kind of connection between that?
It's interesting because you just saw the show, right? And so you see that there was such a strained relationship between Dr. Westerbrook and Haley. He actually sings a song about "You Don't Love Me" now. I never experienced that with either Marshall or his little brother. So I'm not sure, man. I don't know how that particular story came from us. the original impetus for the story was a musical about the Loch Ness Monster. That there was something there. And over the years, we developed the story, but I don't know why he and I, who are still close to this day, would come up with a story about a strained relationship between a father and his daughter. But I was going to say, I do believe in the muse, so when I look at a story like Loch Ness and like what you saw tonight, I'm very reticent to take too much credit for it, because I feel like when you write well, the muse is writing through you, and you're not sure why you wrote what you wrote at the end of the day, and you're not sure what it means at the end of the day, and it's very humbling, and I really believe that, so the story probably means something that I don't even realize right now, but I'm so grateful that it resonates with audiences and of all ages, and I hope for years to come. I do.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm so glad you came.
Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM.
Oh, hello. My name is Julia Smith. I'm from the Northern California area. I grew up there, Northern California at heart. And I've been doing theater since I was in 5th grade and singing all my life. And it's really kind of been the one constant thing that I've loved. And I moved down here about a year and a half ago. And yeah.
And you play?
I play Haley Westerbrook. My character Haley, she is a 12-year-old girl who has just lost her mother, and she believes firmly that her mother is still alive despite a lot of evidence to the contrary. And she set sail with her father to find the Loch Ness Monster, and in the process befriends the Loch Ness Monster, and they're united by this common goal and kind of help each other.
If you don't mind me asking, about how old are you?
I am in my early 20s.
Well, still, that is very young.
Yes. Yes, not quite as young as 12, but I'm glad it is convincing.
So how did you get into acting anyway?
Well, I'd been singing first, and then I had a friend who was like, hey, you should audition for the school musical with me. And I said, okay, and that was in 5th grade, and I fell in love with it instantly. And started pursuing it more and more, and kind of just took off.
You've traveled to Texas, to New York to perform also?
Yes, I went to school in Texas for a while, and so that took me there. And I think I'll move to New York sometime in the next couple years.
So basically, are you committed to do this, or is this just going to be like you have a day job and this will be your night job?
This is my everything. This is my day job, my night job. This is what I want to do and what I'm going to do and what I need to do. So, yeah.
So you're really that committed into it? It's really hard to find work and all that?
It is hard to find work, but I think nothing in life that's really worth pursuing is going to be easy. And when you love something as much as I love this, it's worth all of the trials that you go through, and there's some instability of not knowing when you'll find work, but the payoff and the reward of doing a show like this that's so fulfilling is so incredible that the downs aren't anything compared to the ups.
Are you doing this because you love it or just your dream job?
I mean, it's both. I love it, and it is my dream job. There's nothing I'd rather be doing, and so I'm very blessed that I have the opportunity to work here right now.
Well, again, you did very well. Any kind of advice you can give to younger actors who want to pursue this?
If you love this, then push for it. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it, and keep going and do everything that you can. Learn as much as you can. You never stop learning. Every opportunity, every person that you meet is going to help you shape your life, which helps you shape your career and yourself as an actor.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And you are?
My name is Jackson Tabisca. I graduated from Carnegie Mellon University and went on to teach as well as continue to perform. I've done a lot of shows here at the Chance Theatre, including Lysistrata Jones, West Side Story, and Triassic Park, which is also written by Marshall Paylett. And it's wonderful to be back here again for Loch Ness.
And you play?
I played Dr. Westerbrook in Loch Ness. Dr. Westerbrook is the father of Haley Westerbrook, our heroine, and he and his daughter lost her mother when actually just 12 months prior to when the show takes place, and he spent all his money and all this time looking for her, and his daughter will not forgive him for giving up the search, and now he's on another search for the Loch Ness Monster and hopefully going to have more luck.
So what kind of emotions were you going for?
It's very, very, very heart-wrenching to play the father of a daughter who absolutely resents you and wishes that you had not stopped looking for her mother, because there's, a lot of remorse there himself, and then to have his daughter's hatred on top of that is very difficult. But he's very resolute in protecting her, so he just puts one foot in front of the other every day.
Do you consider yourself an actor who can sing or a musician who can act?
I definitely consider myself an actor who can sing. A lot of my mentors always preach that you should be an actor first. And I try to be as good a singer as I can, but the acting always comes first for me.
So how do you think you did today?
Well, the crowd was fantastic. It was opening night tonight, and everyone was so supportive and so wonderful, and it makes you feel like you're 1,000 feet tall when they're so accepting. So I feel good.
You're also an interview coach, is that correct?
Yes, I am. Absolutely. I've been teaching interview for about 8 years, mostly to kids who are auditioning for schools like OSHA, the Orange County School for the Arts, because they actually go through a rigorous interview process.
Interesting. Well, I guess there's a tremendous need for that. What's that like, being an interview coach? Do you just teach people how to draw up a resume and how to just pass an interview?
Mostly I teach them to bring themselves to the table. A lot of people, when they approach an interview, really focus on being professional and confident, which is very important, but any employee or school teacher or whatever that's interviewing you also wants to see that you're a wonderful flesh and blood person that's going to thrive in the workplace or the school environment. And so I just teach the kids to be open and not to shy away from questions and to feel that they own the space and own the room. And it's very rewarding at the end of the day when they have a successful interview.
Oh, so actually you deal mostly with children when you do interviews?
Mostly my clients are between the ages of junior high school age and then end of high school, because I also coach for their college interviews as well. Occasionally I'll have an adult student come in who's not used to interviewing and wants a little bit of practice and mock interviews and things like that. So the full spectrum, but a lot of my clients are kids.
Yeah, actually, there's a tremendous need for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the reasons that I thought to start interview coaching is when I was younger, when I was a senior in high school, I had an interview where first prize was $20,000 towards tuition and second prize was $1,000, and I just kind of messed up my interview a little bit, and so I got the $1,000 prize, and I thought, how can I help kids like me avoid that trap?
Oh, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Yes, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM.
Awesome.
And you are?
Angeline Miranda. I grew up in the San Francisco area. I have a little brother and my two parents up there. I came down here to go to Chapman University. I studied dance, creative writing, and theater. I teach dance in the area now, and I perform during the evenings and on the weekends.
And you play?
Leanna Callahan. Leanna Callahan is an heiress in Scotland. She's recently inherited a lot of money from her parents, who she had a kind of troubled relationship with. She's using that money to fuel a search for the Loch Ness Monster. She, when she was very young, met the Loch Ness Monster and snapped a picture which was not very clear, and as a result, everyone has called her crazy ever since. So she's trying to vindicate herself.
What were you going for your character? Were you going for a villain, or were you going for a psychopath?
No. So the wonderful thing about playing the villain is that you have to step into somebody's shoes who you would maybe not relate to at first. And I look at her as someone who is pursuing an objective, and that objective is to be happy and to be accepted. And I think that that's something very universal. So to me, she's not a villain. She's just somebody who's maybe misled in her pursuit of happiness.
So were you going for a powerful woman, or were you going for someone who was actually kind of crazy?
I think she's powerful. I think she's volatile in her mood swings. She definitely is manipulative, and I think that comes from a place of being vulnerable. This is how she's learned to protect herself, is to be kind of like the queen player and to play all the chess pieces around her.
You're nailing your song. Really good.
So basically, do you consider yourself a musician who can act, or an actor who can sing?
An actor who can sing. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're actually a very good singer.
Thank you very much. That's kind of you. I'm a dancer first and foremost, and an actor second, and then I picked up music 10 years ago, and I love it. I do.
Yeah, villains are actually usually the more challenging actors. Usually they have the more meat in them.
They do have a lot of meat, and it's fun too, to kind of look at the story from the way that maybe the audience wouldn't look at it, because to me, when she does not get her triumph or her victory in the end, it's kind of tragic, and for me as the actress to look at that.
So are you going to pursue this as your full-time career, or basically is this just a hobby of yours?
No, I'd like to pursue it as a career. Yeah.
Okay, there's one question I'd like to ask you that I don't ask a whole lot of women.
Okay.
But basically, are you afraid of the physical demand of show business, that you have to look a certain way? You have to, you know what I mean?
No, the way that I look at it is I think that in pop culture and in media, we kind of have this idea of what is beautiful and what a woman should be like. But what the drive of art is always to portray humanity. And if we look at humanity, the people that we love and the people that we are don't always fit that cookie cutter image. And so I would really like to see a shift, I think, in kind of the masses' acceptance of what we look for in movie stars and celebrities and actors and actresses.
Do you think that's a little unrealistic?
I think in the long run it's not unrealistic, but I do think it'll take a while to get there. Yeah.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM.
Hi, I'm Katie Brown. I am from Northern California originally, up in Butte County, Paradise, California. Grew up doing theater, went to CSU Chico, and got my degree there in musical theater. And then I came down here to Southern California about 4 years ago now. I work for Disney, and I am loving that and doing shows out on the side. I play Nessie. Nessie is the Loch Ness monster, which is, not her favorite term of hers, but she's an amazing character. She's the Loch Ness monster.
Well, as an actor, what did you draw from this? I mean, who could say I identify with Nessie?
Well, I think that even though she's not a person, that we've kind of personified her a little bit, and she's very relatable to, kind of human emotions and relating that. But I watched a lot of YouTube videos of different sea creatures, from sea lions to sea otters and whales and dolphins and manatees and walruses, just to kind of get kind of the feel of her movement and how they move and interact with each other, and kind of also thought about other animals that maybe she stems from, because she's, a prehistoric creature and kind of, mythological, and there's no real clear definition of her. So I kind of had to look at all of the different versions and ideas of what she is, and pull from that what was going to best help tell the story.
Yeah, so you worked with Disney. I mean, did you get any advice or mentoring from any of them?
No, not. I mean, I have some coworkers and stuff who have done some puppet work and stuff, and so I talked to them about some things, but just, yeah.
That's interesting. Again, I don't know how I would do it if someone told me you're the Loch Ness monster. What were you going through when someone said you're the Loch Ness monster? Show me the Loch Ness monster.
I know, it's totally crazy, but it's so much fun, and I think because she's such a unique character, there's so many different ways that you can take it and add different approaches to take her, and so this is my approach and version of her. But I think she's so beautifully written too. It makes it really easy to to help create and bring her to life, because it's all, so much of it is there, and Marshall's a fantastic director and really helped guide me in the direction of finding her. And I relate to a lot of her and some of her struggles and some of the things that she goes through, and I find pieces of myself in her, so I think that helps to be able to help bring her to life.
Yeah. So what do you think of the performance?
It's an amazing show. It's so much fun. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but if I wasn't in the show, I would definitely come to see it, because it's amazing. It's such a great story. It's great for families, for anybody who wants to come see it. And I love that about it, is that there's something really for everyone to come and see and relate to and enjoy.
Yeah. Again, usually it's hard for me to, it's very rare to find really good performances that just hit with every character. I can't think of anyone who did a bad performance. How do you think that happened? I mean, it just doesn't happen by itself.
Everyone is fantastic. They're all great people too, which is amazing, and we all really click together really well. We've all really connected and bonded together, and I think that really helps, that we've all kind of created a cohesive team of people, because it takes all of us to put the show on, and everybody's amazing and so fantastically talented that we all work really well together. They put together an amazing cast of people. It's a privilege to work with these folks.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thank you.
Hello. Hello. Yes.
Hey.
Hello. My name is Ashton Marcus.
Hi, I'm Alex Bueno. I actually graduated from a kind of a fame-like high school, Academy of Visual and Performing Arts, and after that I went and did a couple of years of Meisner over at D.W. Brown Studio, and then kind of just fell in love with the chants and kind of been here since 2001. So I've been here for like 15 years about. So yeah, all my training and all that stuff is just purely by experience here and experience at other places, like doing plays and such. So I played CJ. CJ, not Captain CJ, CJ. My character CJ is, she's a tough gal. She doesn't like to take crap from anybody, but she's also kind of laid back. She enjoys jazz, and she's, likes a nice, steady, clean crew, clean boat, but, she's also kind of like cool and easygoing at times. I think CJ is, I don't know. I think she kind of has a soft spot for her family, and soft spot for Haley, and soft spot for her Pierre and Claire, her three members. So yeah.
So how do you think the performance went?
I think it went really well. The audience was amazing. They were just so with us, and the energy that we felt from them was just is incredible. I just can't even describe it. But I think it went really, really well. We found some new moments tonight that we hadn't had before, and hopefully we're just going to keep growing and playing, and we'll see what happens at the last show. I mean, so.
Yeah. Actually, I thought it went pretty well too. Why do you think it was such a success?
I think because the cast and the designers and just the crew just put their heart and soul into this project, and we worked so hard, and we're so connected with each other, and really, really believed in this project. Believe, because if you believe in something hard enough, it has to be true. And I think that's what makes it a success. I think the hard work, I think everyone wanting it to be successful, wanting each other to succeed as opposed to compete with each other. I think that's a big thing. But also the audience, because we feed off of you guys so much, and once we feel your energy, it just helps us. It gets us amped and helped us, take it to the next level. So.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Well, thank you so much.
So my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM, and you are?
Keaton William. I'm originally from Turlock, California, in Central California. I moved down here to go to college at Cal State Fullerton. I finished their BFA in Musical Theater program last year. This is my fourth show at the Chance Theater. It's been amazing, and I was in New York, and Marshall is a friend of mine after doing Triassic Park with him, and he asked Gina and I to come out to do the show, and we were more than happy to be here. So, yeah. I play Pierre. Pierre is he's French. His sister Eclaire also works on the boat. They both are in their doctorate studies for their studies in mechanical engineering and also marine biology. Basically, they work on as part of the crew on the ship, the Annabelle, which is in the Loch Ness, and they're looking to find Nessie. So my job, I'm an able-bodied seaman, and I fix things on the boat. I'm more like the day-to-day kind of a guy. You know, if something needs to be scrubbed, I'm that guy. If I need to jump in the water and go under the ship and work on something, I'm that guy. So I'm kind of the go-to handyman.
Yeah, how do you actually add something to a backup character? I mean, how do you put any emotion into it?
You know, it can be tough, and because, you know, I think both Eclair and I only have about 8 or 10 lines, so to make a character out of that can be tough. I think that it's really in like the director trusting you to like make choices and to to go for it, really, like with the little lines that you do have. And so much acting that you do really is the silent acting when everybody else, the scene's going on. You still have to find your character. What's your point of view? So I think finding that point of view is really important. And I think that it's okay to let a little bit of yourself come through in a character, especially when it is a tougher character, because really a character is really just like you and me. You know, they're just people, they're in this crazy story, but they're just people, you know?
Yeah. For your comedy, do you just find natural timing, or do you have to work on that?
I work on it a lot, actually, yeah. I like to try to be funny, but I honestly don't think I'm a funny person naturally all the time. I'm not that guy who can just say a joke and kill everybody. So yeah, our director was integral in that, and the other actors around me were just fantastic and so easy to work with. So basically, I mean, it's trial and error, and you go for something and you hear crickets, and I always say it's like shooting a three-pointer in basketball. You know, like you go for the three, and if you make it, you're a hero, and if you don't make it, well, better luck next time. You know. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM.
I am Gina Velez, and thank you so much for interviewing me. I grew up in Whittier, California, which is not too far from here, and I went to La Habra High School. And I've done theater my whole life in different cities in Orange County, more northern Orange County. I graduated from Cal State Fullerton with a BFA in musical theater in 2013, and I did West Side Story here about 2 years ago, and with Keaton, actually, who is my Pierre. We're dating now, and we did West Side Story back in the day together as well. So, yeah, that's like my little biography.
And you play?
And I am Eclair in the Loch Ness musical.
Yeah.
Eclair is very, very intelligent, maybe more for her own, too intelligent for her own good, I guess you could say. She's very passionate and very intense about what she believes in, and is a micromanager / wants to do the best job that she can, and really bases her own self-confidence sometimes on the approval of others. And I know I have those tendencies at times. I'm just not as extreme as Eclair. So I think that's where that character evolved from, was just basing it on the more quirky side and the idiosyncratic side of myself.
I liked your accents. Did that take you a while to work on?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, even last week I was still doing work on it. When I had an aunt who came and said, your accent was hard to understand at times. I was like, oh, that hurts, but like at the same time I'm going to go home and work on it now, because it can get better. Every day it can get better.
What kind of emotion did you bring out in your character?
I just try to pay attention and like really actively listen to what's going on in each scene that I'm doing. I find that pursuing an active objective as well is it's essential. It's necessary to every character, and finding what obstacles you're constantly overcoming and what drives you and what makes you click as a character, and finding that specificity within the work is probably what helps me get into Eclair's emotional and as well as physical state.
You seem to actually put something into it.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe that everything you do, any kind of work and if you're going to be in this business, you better be passionate about everything you do. Otherwise, there's no point in being here. But I do believe that everything I do, I want to do 150%. Otherwise, I shouldn't be here. And I have been a lead in shows before. I'm usually an ingenue in show, so I know what it's like to be carrying a show and see an ensemble member who's working so hard, and to feel like, wow, this is a team effort. This is not about a lead, it's not about a supporting role, it's not about the stage manager or a tech guy. It's about like us as a team trying to bring forth the best product that we can.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the interview.
I'm Ashton Marcus, and I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM, and you are?
My name is Corky Lupe.
And you play?
I play the Oiler in Loch Ness, a new musical.
This is my second show here at the Chance. I was in last season's production of She Loves Me. I was in the original reading of Loch Ness a couple years ago when it was a one-act, and so I was fortunate enough to be part of the original cast of Loch Ness as it was a reading when it was still a work in progress. Wasn't able to do the second reading when it was a two-act, but fortunately I was available to audition for the production that we're doing now, and again more fortunate to actually get cast and actually have the opportunity to create a role that didn't exist when we started rehearsing this show. I was actually casted for a different part, which was cut relatively early on, and then we developed the Oiler sheerly through Marshall and AD's incredibly creative intellect as this process was going to develop this character that I'm fortunate to play in this production.
Could you give me a brief synopsis of your character?
Well, the Oiler is a little bit of a mysterious individual who helps facilitate the story, and he's a little difficult to pin down as far as he doesn't necessarily ever really connect with anybody in the story until the very end when he has the surprise twist, which I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But he essentially is a mechanism to help perpetuate this story mechanically. There's certain things that need to occur on stage. There's the puppetry. But he still tells the story. He tells his own story through the storyline, and because he certainly has his own story that isn't necessarily connected with the main characters until we find in the very end that he actually is an integral part of the myth of Loch Ness and why it's so important that the myth survive and not necessarily if Nessie exists or if she doesn't exist. The important thing is that the myth is intact at the end of the story, and that's what the Oiler does.
You play a bit of a character actor. Do you find yourself a character actor or more of a leading man actor?
Well, I would like to have, think that I could have been a leading man actor, but I took about 20 years off, so I missed that. I'd done my last show about when I was 30 years old, and I took about 20 years off to raise some kids, get them in high school, get them in college, and a couple years ago I started auditioning again. I'm 52 now, and I found that I do enjoy the character parts because they're a bit of a challenge for me. I do have a regular career that is not involved with theater. I have a full-time job and a career in government, and the small character roles for me seem to work really well because I enjoy doing them. I enjoy bringing my particular take, and it keeps me busy. I've had a lot of fun in the last couple of years doing roles like this. They're a great exercise for me as a character actor, doing a smaller part, and they're difficult. They're hard. You really have to kind of create a reason for them to be important in the story, because they don't necessarily tell the story, but they're part of the story. But they have to be fully fleshed out characters to be enjoyable to watch and belong up there. And I find that, and you have to kind of come to a lot of your own conclusions that aren't so distracting to the story, but help enhance the storytelling. And I find it very exciting to do character parts like this.
Actually, for the character parts, some theaters would just have like one guy playing all 10 character parts.
That's true. If you want to work that hard, that's like an ensemble part. I mean, ensemble people work harder than anybody else on stage because they do so many different things. Sometimes it's easier to be a leading man or the ingenue role because you get one character throughout the storyline, but you don't have to develop 5 or 6 distinctive characters as an ensemble person does, and basically work your butt off. And the small character parts that I enjoy doing, I love being part of the actormation with moving the set, being on stage all the time, being able to do some puppetry. This is a very physically exhausting show, but it's also a very emotionally uplifting show too. So we're wet, we're drenched with sweat at the end of the show, but we're also invigorated because we know that the audience is with us every breath of the way. We can, because we're so close, and this is a great venue to do a show like this where we can be so close to the audience. It's more than a black box, but it's not a huge auditorium either. It's so intimate, and it's a pleasure to be able to tell a story like this so intimately with the audience right there with us.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Hello, yes, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM, and you are?
Matt Takahashi. I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. I came out here for college. I went to the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, the Los Angeles campus. This is my second chance show, and I actually did the reading for this last year. I did one of the readings for this. I work for the Walt Disney Company in their entertainment division, and love it. Live here in Orange County. It's great.
And you play?
Angus Ogilvy and Mud Pie. Gotta throw Mud Pie in there. Angus Ogilvy is the sidekick to the antagonist of the show, Lady Lyanna Callahan. He's kind of like the Kronk of the show, if you're an Emperor's New Groove. Not a lot upstairs in his mind, but very sweet and earnest and just wants to do a good job for her. And then Mud Pie is actually Haley, the main heroine. It's her pet frog, Mud Pie.
Yeah, so what did you do to prepare yourself for these roles?
Did a lot of research on Scottish heritage, Scottish dialects. We did a lot of character development and improv for our backstory. We had a whole day of rehearsal. One day it was like 6 hours or so, where we just acted out what the past 15 or so years was like for our characters. So for me it was, how did I meet Callahan, things like that. And then for the puppeteering, because I also did puppeteering for Mud Pie and for Nessie, it was a lot of, because I've never puppeteered, so we did a lot of research on that and the style that we wanted to do. We did some analysis on different animal styles and how they moved. And then we worked a lot with Katie, who played Nessie, and we did things as simple as breathing. So we learned her songs and her lines with her, and we just would breathe with her. We learned how she worked so that we could all be one piece together.
So how do you think you did?
I think it went well. I heard some laughs, which is always good to hear for me. It makes me happy. The audience seemed to respond well to the show tonight. A lot of great stuff. So I think it was a very successful opening.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure.
My name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM.
My name is Laura M. Hathaway. I'm a resident artist here at the Chance Theater. I've been a part of the theater for about 4 years, a resident artist for about 2.5 or 3. I do theater in the area. I enjoy working here, and I love this show, and I'm just really excited about opening night. My character is a little bit mysterious. I play the balladeer, so I am a ethereal character that comes out of the fog and sings a lot of Gaelic, which is fun, and but beautiful, an old Gaelic tune that is recognizable and is part of the culture. So I get to do that. In addition to that, I also am part of Nessie, so I get to, primarily I'm her tail, but I also get to be part of her body as well. So I get to help bring Nessie to life in a way that I never thought possible comfortable.
You did mostly music here. Do you consider yourself a musician or an actor?
I've always felt like I'm a singer primarily, but anytime you sing, you have to act along with it. So if you are singing a song, you approach it the same way that you approach a monologue. So I feel like I sort of learned how to sing, and then from that, I was able to learn how to act through that. Now I consider myself an actor.
Yeah, you seem to be more different. The rest of them consider themselves actors who can sing. You're more of a singer who can act.
I'm a classically trained soprano. So I considered myself a singer first because that's what got me into theater in the first place. But once I started doing theater, I started learning more and more about acting. Sort of learned backwards and learned on the job rather than taking classes for it. And after that, I sort of became an actor. But I still consider myself, in my brain, I guess, I consider myself a singer first.
So again, sometimes I hear that singers are usually more serious about the trait than actors are. Is that true?
Serious about what?
They're more serious about the trait, like they warm up, they have to practice like every day, they have to like take care of their voice.
Well, I mean, everybody should, regardless of whether you consider yourself an actor or a singer. That's all just a part of having a healthy instrument, which makes me sound so conceited. But yeah, it's a healthy instrument. I mean, I take it seriously. I take my vocal health seriously, of course. But I mean, everybody does. But you know, we also warm up our bodies before we start the show. We also warm up our minds and try to have focus exercises. So we warm up a little bit of everything. A vocal warm-up is just part of it. And yes, I do practice. I'll, warm up in the car, or I'll practice scales or anything while I'm alone at home. But mostly it's a lot of kind of on the job while we're warming up for the show.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM. Yes, and you are?
I'm Ryan O'Connell. I was the orchestrator and music supervisor for Loch Ness.
Yeah. So, how do you think you did?
I thought the show went really well, and I think the audience really got into it, which is the whole point. So as long as that happens, I'm very happy.
So what was the process in actually developing this thing?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be involved with the very first reading of the show about a year and a half ago at Chance. I was the music director, and I'm one of three members. There are two members of the cast and me who were here through all three readings, and so I was very grateful to see it go through all the stages of development and finally come to fruition. So the process has been a very fulfilling one, and one that is a long time coming, but we're so glad that it finally made it. Marshall, I was brought in by the director of the first reading, which was not Marshall. Marshall had a guest director come in and do the first reading, but then I met Marshall during the second reading, and we really hit it off, and he invited me to be orchestrator for the production. So it's been a fantastic and very enjoyable process so far.
So how did you get all the people, all the talent together?
I mean, a lot of them come from Orange County. A lot of them are Chance favorites or people that have been in Chance shows before. Jackson, who played Dr. Westerbrook, and Katie, who played Nessie, they were both involved in the first reading. Like I said, they were two of the three that were involved the whole way through. And then Gina and Keaton have been in Chance shows before. They live in New York City, but Marshall is good friends with them, and he brought them back out for this production. So a lot of them are Orange County favorites. I think almost everybody lives or has lived in Orange County.
Again, I do a lot of community theater. I do non-equity theater.
Mm-hmm.
The cast actually looked very professional.
Yeah, I mean, Marshall works very hard, and we all do. We all work very hard at refining the process, and we for all intents and purposes, this is a fully professional theater company. We thought of it that way. We went into it that way. We ended with a very high standard, and I think it showed on stage.
Definitely. And how about the singing? The singing was actually very high quality also.
Yes, we worked very hard with the singers, and they worked very hard themselves to really refine the vocals, and I'm very proud of the finished product. I was actually less involved with the audition process. That was the music director, Mark Sonnenblick. I was more involved with the production aspect of it, where I did all the orchestrations, and that was my main focus. I came in and I helped coach the singing because I was involved with the previous productions, but for the most part, Mark took care of the vocal coaching for the show. Yeah.
All right, so you basically got all the music together and had it performed?
Yeah. The orchestrations, we pre-recorded a lot of things for the orchestrations. So I took Marshall's piano sketches and the piano vocal score, and I fleshed it out for a 15-piece orchestra, and then designed the implementation system that allowed it to flow and be dynamic and vamp and wait for the actors and really be a fluid performance.
Yeah, I guess that's another reason why it was so well done. Most people just have one guy doing all that.
Yeah, it's true. And we kind of went back and forth, like, could we have live musicians? Did we want to do tracks? And ultimately we decided that in the situation with a theater of this size, we wanted to, and with a score of this, with this many colors in it. The score has Celtic influence, and it's got it's got a Disney influence, and there's a lot of elements at play, and we felt that like reducing it to a 4-piece ensemble just wasn't going to do it justice, and so we decided to really flesh it out and make the orchestra bigger. And the nice thing is, we had the future of the show in mind. So the orchestrations are ready to be written down whenever we can get a live orchestra in there, which will hopefully be the next production.
You're actually bringing an entire orchestra in there?
We hope so. It all depends on where the show goes from here, but we have very big hopes for the show, and it wouldn't, not necessarily at this theater, but at another theater where there's a little bit more space. We're hoping to bring in a live orchestra and really have it be in the room.
It looks like actually you did pretty well this time.
Thank you. It's we're very proud. It's nice to be open finally. It's nice to put it out in the public and have it be seen by everyone.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, I'm Mark Sonnenblick.
And what do you do?
For this show, I was music director.
So how did you prepare for that?
What did I prepare? So Marshall gave me the music. I spent a while listening to the music, looking over the score, talking with Marshall about it, and with Ryan, who was our orchestrator, and kind of the three of us coordinated how we wanted stuff to sound. Ryan went off and made the backing tracks, the glorious orchestrations, and then I worked with the singers and taught them the music, so they knew how it all went.
So where'd you get the singers from?
So that is actually not my department at all. I have no idea, but they were all awesome. I just came in I actually wasn't even here for the first day of rehearsal. I came in like a week late. But when I was here, I met them all. They were all lovely, and then I taught them. But I wasn't involved with casting or anything like that.
Yeah, well, most of them say that they're not musicians who can act. They're actually actors who can sing.
Yeah, for a musical, it's really important to have good actors. It's not a concert. So a lot of times you'll want to find people with very strong acting skills and figure out ways to tailor the music to their strengths so they sound incredible as well. And that's a lot of what the work is. But also, they're all incredible singers too. It's not like nobody can't sing in the cast.
Doesn't that make your work a lot harder? Wouldn't you just like to have outstanding singers?
Well, they are. No, but they are all outstanding singers. But it's way better to have incredible actors who are maybe a little bit less good singers than get the best singers ever who can't act, because then you're not involved with the story. You're not listening to really what is being told. You're just like, wow, listen to their voices. What happened? I don't care about any of them. So these actors can not only sing, but they also make you care about the story.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound, it's actually probably not as easy as it was for you, because again, you still have to get the emotion through their songs.
That's a lot of them, Actually, they really bring it. I teach them the notes. I work with them how to get them to a place where it's comfortable in their voice. But then they work with the director, and they figure out how do I sing this so it best communicates. And that's a lot of what they bring to the table. That's not even me.
Yeah, I'm actually very impressed with the crew around here.
Oh yeah, well, so the guy who did the director was also the writer, so there were a lot of things that he took on that most directors wouldn't be taking on. So I think he kind of assembled a team knowing that hey, I need someone to teach the music because someone else to do the orchestrations. He just knew what he was going to need, and we all love the show. We all love the writers, so we knew that it was going to be a good time. We signed on.
Yeah. Well, how would you rate the performance?
How would I rate the performance? 10 10 out of 10.
I would probably agree with you. Maybe a little lesser, but I probably agree with you.
It's my job to say 10 out of 10. That's.
I guess it's my job to say a little less.
That is your job. Yeah, it's not mine. But that from where it's just been, especially with a new show, stuff changing on them all the time. To come together for these, especially this last week of previews, and see stuff on stage that has been so nebulous and abstract up to this point. I'm just like, I can't believe this was able to come together in the way it was. These actors have had so much on their plate, and they're really bringing it, and that's always impressive to me.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, no, hey, absolutely. Thanks for taking the time.
Loch Ness, a new musical, will be playing at Chance Theater from February 6th to March 1st. For more information, go to www